Aryna Sabalenka has an awkward moment after ball hits opponent's face during Australian Open match. Aryna Sabalenka got a tricky start to her 2026 Australian Open campaign. The two-time AO champion entered Melbourne in fine form after lifting the Brisbane International Trophy. But her opening match against Tyansoa Rakitomanga was no cakewalk for the world number one. Being the aggressive shotmaker she is, the Belarusian found herself in an unexpected moment on Rod Laver Arena. On Sunday, Sabalenka took control early, winning the first set 6-4 against the French qualifier. But in the heat of the second set, things took a turn. During a return, she drove the ball straight across and accidentally hit Rajana, who was positioned close to the net. The incident didn't rattle the qualifier, who kept her composure and fought on bravely. However, it was clear that Aryna Sabalenka took full control during the match, using her power to move the qualifier around the court. She fired 23 winners in total, forcing her opponent into repeated errors. Her serve also made the difference, averaging 167 km/h to Rajana's 149. On return, the top seed's dominance showed as she captured 42% of points on the Frenchwoman's first serve and an impressive 64% on the second. In the end, Sabalenka wrapped up the win 6-4, 6-1, unleashing her trademark power to dominate the rallies. Rajana struggled to keep pace, often sending her returns into the net or sailing them long. This is a developing story. The post-Aryna Sabalenka has an awkward moment after ball hits opponent's face during Australian Open match appeared first on Essentially Sports. The power and the pause. Aryna Sabalenka's unexpected moment at the Australian Open. The lights of Rod Laver Arena gleam brighter in January, as they always do during the Australian Open, a neutral, dazzling stage on which legends are made and unpredictable moments etch themselves into the sport's collective memory. For the world number one Aryna Sabalenka, Melbourne had once again become the backdrop of both her fiercest determination and one of the most unexpected, awkward scenes of her season. On a night when the crowd buzzed with anticipation, partly due to the presence of icons like Roger Federer and Rod Laver watching from the stands, Sabalenka began her campaign against French qualifier Tyansoa Rakitomanga. She entered the match with the aura of a favorite, fresh from a title in Brisbane and ready to defend her crown, yet as any seasoned athlete knows, confidence and control are only part of the equation in a sport defined by split-second reactions. The traffic of intensity and precision. From the outset, Sabalenka's trademark power was on display. Her ground strokes thundered, her serves zipped over the net, and her focus was razor-sharp. Yet tennis, like life, is rarely a linear story. Even the most meticulously calculated actions can yield moments of surprise. At one pivotal juncture in the second set, in a lively exchange deep into the rally, Sabalenka lunged for a high return. With all the intent of a champion seeking control of the point, she unleashed a forehand across the court, not just hard, but precise, clipped perfectly from her vantage behind the baseline. For a fraction of a second it seemed like a brilliant decision, another small advantage won in a long game of inches. But then, the hit. The ball, traveling faster than the eye could comfortably follow, caught Rajana in the face as she stood close to the net. The arena seemed to exhale all at once, a collective reaction of shock, concern, and disbelief. The French qualifier's composure didn't immediately break, but the gravity of the moment was undeniable, a powerful professional strike meeting an unprotected human target. Silence before the apology. For a fleeting second, the intensity of competition gave way to an almost surreal lull. Sabalenka, instinctively attuned to the flow of the match, froze for a heartbeat too long, registering the surreal intersection of athletic ferocity and human vulnerability. Tennis, after all, is supposed to be an elegant war of precision, not an accidental collision. Then came her response. A swift, genuine apology delivered not in words but through body language, a hurried gesture toward her opponent. Words in arenas are often drowned by ambient noise, but the sincerity was there, etched in her expression and movements. It was an apology that acknowledged what had happened without dwelling on it, aiming to steer the narrative back to the match itself, where both players still had much to give. These are the moments that remind the audience, and the players themselves, that beneath the athleticism lies sheer humanity. The rules of the game bear no provisions for accidental mishaps like this. No penalties are handed out when a ball in play strikes an opponent. It's simply one of those unpredictable curiosities sports can throw at us. Yet the unintended hit was enough to cause a collective shiver across the crowd and spark instant reactions on social feeds and sports recaps worldwide. The match goes on. Once the moment passed and every gaze refocused on the baseline, Sabalenka began to reassert her authority. Her aggressive style, powerful serves averaging close to 167 km per hour, crisp winners, and unrelenting pressure on return became the defining rhythm of the encounter. She fired winner after winner, forcing errors and commanding the tempo. The memory of the awkward hit quickly became a footnote as Sabalenka tightened her grip on the match, eventually closing it out 6-4, 6-1. For her opponent, it was a test of resilience in more ways than one. To be struck, however unintentionally, and to remain composed enough to continue is an act of professional courage for any young competitor on a grand stage. There was pain, certainly, but there was also resolve. Tennis demands both physical stamina and mental fortitude, and Aryna fought on not just against the world's best player, but against the sudden reminder of how fickle fortune can be on court. Sabalenka, beyond the power. Many fans and analysts have long associated Sabalenka with uncompromising force. Her serves thunder, her ground strokes are fearsome, her competitive intensity palpable. But this moment, the awkward collision and the immediate, instinctive apology, revealed another layer of the athlete, a responsive professionalism that respects the boundaries of competition and the safety of those within it. The crowd's reaction mirrored that blend of shock and empathy. Fans gasped in unison when the ball hit, then cheered Sabalenka on as she continued with conviction. Social media threads lit up not just with clips of the hit, but with discussions about intent, sportsmanship, and the mental agility required to move past unexpected events in high-stakes matches. More than a moment, a narrative in play. What makes this scene so compelling isn't purely the awkwardness of it. After all, accidents, both dramatic and mundane, pepper every hour of everyday life. Instead, it's the way this snippet encapsulated the broader human drama of elite sport. White medium star intensity, the raw competitiveness that drives world-class athletes to their limits. White medium star vulnerability, the reminder that players are not machines, but people who may be caught off guard in an instant. White medium star composure, the ability to absorb shock, regroup, and proceed with grace. White medium star sportsmanship, the gestures and unspoken rules that tether power to respect.